All right. It's the 20th of May, and it's a Tuesday. We've got about 30 minutes to the NY Open. Just 1 second. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's start with the calendar. Nothing. Nothing this week. I do this every day. This is my process. Um, it seems, kind of monotonous at times, but it's the process that I follow. Always start with the calendar, check the calendar, see if there is any news. There's nothing, right? And I check on Forex Factory. These are the only, I consider only the red folders, and out of the red folders, there are 6 main news events that I look at for the month. That is NFP, CPI, PPI, retail sales, the interest rate decision, and then the FOMC meeting minutes that comes in 30 minutes after the interest rate decision, right? These are the main 6. Apart from that, everything else is just noise, right? These are the main 6, at least for gold, right? These are the main 6. So there's nothing. This week there's nothing, and next week there's nothing, right? So we're going to have, I think, very likely going to have 2 quiet weeks. Quiet in terms of movement, but that doesn't mean in terms of trading. You can always trade a range, you can trade a trend, you can trade a range. Okay. We'll discuss more about that later on. All right. So the daily candle, you can see how volume was. Yesterday was a Monday, and this week uh, is a no news week, and you can see how volumes already dropped yesterday, just 430 pips. We've been having 1,000 pip candles uh, most of the time, 900, 800, 900, 1,000 pip candles, and yesterday we had a 400 pip candle. Just like here, we had a 400 pip candle here as well, right? So we could be in a range. Now, if you just look at the 4 hours before we move, these are the support resistance levels that we marked yesterday, and price kind of stayed in that, right? So price came, dipped back into this, pushed back up, came back, and then went down, but now has come back above, right? So these are the levels that I drew. We're basically stuck in a range. We're kind of stuck in a range. Now we kind of have a top and a bottom of the range. This could be the top. Yeah, this could be the top of the range. Yeah, that could be the top of the range right there. And this could be the bottom of the range. Yeah, this could be the bottom of the range, right? So we're stuck in this range. How many pips is this? Let's say 250 pips, right? 250 pip range. We're stuck in. We've tapped this area many times. If there is volume, we could break and head higher. But if we head higher, are we going to come back and get back into the range, or are we going to continue high? It all depends if there's volume or not. I'll leave these like this. All right. So the daily closed a doji, bullish doji, at 3230. So that's really nothing, saying nothing. The weekly candle is still bearish with a wick to fill, so we could grab liquidity and come down. That's the initial idea, the idea that we had yesterday. Just give me a second. Yeah, the idea that we had yesterday, that price could grab liquidity and continue down to fill the wick later on. All right. So yeah, just a second. Yeah, just want to check if it's streaming correctly. All right, so let's go to our trading chart. Um, so I said yesterday, we spoke about there was a sell. Price didn't come to the entry levels that I was expecting it to come to take the sell down, but it came down anyway. I didn't get in on the sell, but I said wait for buys. And I said price is going to come to a liquidity area, grab liquidity, the EMA or the liquidity candle here, and push up. And that's exactly what it did. Price came down. We had a huge liquidity wick and pushed up, but there's no volume to go higher, right? So I did take a trade here. This was the entry. 32, I think around 32.28. There's a 5 minute. The reason I took that trade is 30-minute support and a tradable 30-minute bull candle closed from the liquidity candle. This is that candle, liquidity grab. If you go down to the 50-minute time frame, this is how you draw the fib. From the low, this candle broke this low, this candle broke this low. This is the most recent low from the high to the lowest low. And if you go to the 5-minute time frame, there was a zone there, a rally-based rally, right? I got in here, just here, around 32.28, and then got out here, right? That given this level yesterday on the chart, 3239 was given yesterday on the chart. That was the first level where price would head to, and it got there, right? And I got out of the trade. Then after that, we just pushed down. And once I saw that 50-minute candle, there's no point holding any more positions because we're coming back down and we're going to range. Okay, so let's get rid of all of this and start the process again. Okay, let's just 1 second. I just want to check these SR levels. Are they correct? 194, 230, 265, 265, 289329. Yeah, we're good. All right. So let's start with demand. We have a drop, a base, and a rally here, right? Okay. That is a reaction to whatever that was here. There was a zone here that we had marked yesterday, right? And this is a reaction. We broke into that and we closed back above and we're heading high, right? So this is the source, this is the reaction, and this is new demand. Let's put the numbers on that. 130484. 1304. Okay. Here, let's look at supply. There is a supply zone here, a rally and a drop here. Let's start by marking that. Yeah, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Look for a base here. Yeah, there's a base there. See, even check on the 30-minute time frame, might be better. Yeah, there we go. Rally, base in candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a drop. 7 base in candles and a drop. As high is 852, 006. Okay. Okay, I'm going to push this for higher so we don't overlap it. 852. So that is whatever's left of that supply. And we have new 4-hour supply here. If there is volume, we're going to go through all of this. We're going to go straight up here, 3289. We just needs volume to push that 500 pips, 450, 500 pips up. First to the liquidity candle, the here right here, which is 3279 or 3280, and then 3289, and then even 3300, right? But it needs volume. No volume, it's not going to move. All right, let's extend this also to the right because we have, yeah, we need to cover about 600 pips to the upside. Okay, right. I just want to take a look at this liquidity candle here. So those are supply zones, right? We have one new one. The others are the rest. These two and these are all old zones that we've drawn last week. This is the only new zone that we have supply, and this is the only new demand zone that we have because price has just been ranging. So we don't have further new supply or demand zones, just two of them, right? One at the top here, where current price is, and this demand zone here at the bottom. We're going to take a look at this area where price has crossed this level in a minute, but I want to take a look at this liquidity candle before we do so. Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. That's 30 minutes. Yeah, we're going to go through this. If there is volume, we're going to go through all of them. But the liquidity there is all consumed, right? And we spoke about this yesterday. Look at how many taps we have on that liquidity candle. That's a 15-minute liquidity candle there that I just showed. Once, this is the first, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We're coming the 6th time. We're going to go through that. And once we go through that, we're going to go through this, right? Whenever liquidity candles are stacked up against each other, they've been tapped on the way down. This one has been tapped here, 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 and here, and then come down, right? So once we go through one, we can hold. If there is volume and we do get a buy trade, you can hold a runner all the way up to the liquidity candle 3280 and then 3289 and then even 3300 if there is volume, right? Let's take a look at this area on the low time frame. This area right here, there's nothing. 1 hour there is nothing. 30-minute there is nothing. Just a clean candle, right? EMAs have crossed. They crossed down and they crossed about. Wow, this tells you that there is no volume. You don't need anything else. When this very rarely happens, and it happens only when there is no volume. When EMAs cross, when the red crosses this is the fast EMA that I use. And when it crosses back, right, in a in an hour or two, in just in the span of, I can see how, yeah, it's crossed above, crossed below, crossed back above. We're just ranging. We're just ranging, right? It's very clear on the 4 hour. Look at that. Price is just moving sideways. This is the range we're talking about, right? On the 4 hour. That's the range. We're stuck in this 250 pip range. All right. So, okay, we're going to take a look at this area on the 1 hour. There's nothing on the 1 hour, 30 minutes. Yeah, there is a zone there. There is a zone here because there is a weekly SR level right here. There is a zone here. I'm going to mark that zone out. It's on the 30-minute. Might even have to look at the 15-minute to get the zone right. 30 minutes, good. Yeah, I'm going to take that as a zone. So this will be the rally, 3 base-in candles, because this candle is inside this wick. It's inside this candle, right? Let me explain that. The reason I'm taking these 3 as the base-in candles is because this candle is still inside this. This is inside this big candle, right? This candle engulfs this entire candle. So that's part of the base. And then the move up is the invisible candle because that's a gap up. Price closed here, right, on Friday and opened here. That's the 180, 175 pip move up, right? That's the invisible candle. That is the move up. 5. So this closes 201, low 103, 201. Right. So that's, yeah. So price could come there today, tomorrow, in the future, could come there, right? We have a weekly SR level and a psychological round number there. Okay. All right. So this would be for demand. Yeah, that's for demand. Yeah, we're covered. 450 pips to the downside. Good. All right. So we've got 2 zones here, 2 new demand zones and 1 supply zone. Let's take a look at the supply zone. Start with supply and check if it's a high liquidity zone. On the 1 hour, yeah, we have a rally, a base and a rally here, and prices come down, taken out that. So that's a high liquidity zone now. Yeah. This one isn't because prices come deep into it. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, there is a drop, a base, and a drop here. This push up has taken out that high, making this a high liquidity zone. Okay, and here we have this zone on the 30-minute, taking out this. We have a drop, all these basin candles here, and this drop here, and this push up took out that, and that took out all these. There are 3 supply zones here that have been taken out by this. So this too is a high liquidity zone. All right. Okay. Right. Now let's look at let's look at supply and see if we have a high liquidity candle here, because this is a new zone. We need to check these three zones for high liquidity candles. Okay. Let's start with this on the 1 hour time frame. There doesn't seem to be anything on the 1 hour except for this big candle here. 135 pips. Let's get a 30-minute time frame. It's still that candle, 139 pips. Okay, let's start with that. Start with that. Look at the 15-minute time frame. 96. Yeah. Let's look at the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, that's a drop. Yeah, this one right here. 762,805. 762,805. Okay. 762. Just push that up so we don't overlap it. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at this area on the 1 hour time frame. We're looking for a high liquidity candle. This is a big candle here. Let's start with that. Okay. Let's check the 30-minute time frame. That's 107. 93. 15-minute. 78. 1 second. Yeah. 77. 89. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one right here. Let's check the 5-minute as well. Yeah, we could bring it to the 5-minute. That's better. Yeah, this one, this candle right here. If you look left, there is nothing. What's this? 65. Also 65. Yeah, the same size, those candles. Hmm. Yeah, let's go with this candle. 143482. Okay, that's a fairly wide zone, 165 pip zone. Now you got to remember it's fairly wide because volume has died down. right? We're having 400 pip daily candles now, no longer 1,000 pip daily candles, and uh, that might be the case for this week and next week because we have no news these 2 weeks. Um, yeah, let's take a look at this area. This would be the largest candle here, 103 pips. Let's take a look at it on the 1 hour. Yeah, there's nothing. 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, that's the candle right there. 273,222. 273. Yeah, that's the move up. Clean move up. 106 pips. Yeah, perfect. Okay, done. I just wonder if there is another candle here. It's very possible. It's very possible that there is another liquidity candle here, possibly this one. 78, 66, 93 pip move up. Yeah, very possible. We're going to mark that as well. It's possible there are two liquidity candles in here. Again, the reason is you have, I call these zones larger zones because there is no volume. We're not having those 150 pip 15-minute candles anymore, right? We're back to 40 pip candles, 30 pip 15-minute candles. No longer are we seeing a 175 pip 15-minute candle, which was what was happening uh, a few weeks back, probably, yeah, about 4 weeks back, even 2 weeks back. 261484. 261484. All right, that's it. And this is the NY Open, right? As always, I wait for the first 15-minute candle to close. I don't do anything until then. But what I do is we can continue with my analysis and see what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Okay, so let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Yeah, we've moved about 368 pips so far. Yeah, that's the market open right here. Opened at 3230. Opened at the weekly SR level. Yeah, 3230.5. You could say that's the market open. And this is 30. That is 6. We're pushing up. Pushing up. Retest of the Asian high. Trying to push up. Mm. Yeah. 30. Okay. 275. 4. Okay, so in the Asian session, we've moved 275 pips approximately, and in the London session, 300, 300 pips, right? So we corrected the move, 325, about 300 plus pips in the London session, and in the Asian session, 275. And these are compared to a couple of weeks ago. These are small moves for the Asian and London session. Asian session, we would see 700, 800, 900 pip moves in the Asian session, and in the London session also equally 400, 500 pip moves. So so we've volumes dropped. All right, there's less volume. Let's take a closer look at what price has done. So we were ranging, right? Let's look at how the market closed. Yeah, we were ranging. There was nothing. There was no volume pushing down, no volume pushing back up. We were just ranging at 3230. If you look at the 15-minute time frame, this is all that was happening. Prices pushing down, pushing back up, pushing back down. We're just ranging there, and that is why the market opened also at 3230. This is a range, right? About 100 and let's say 110 pip, 110, 120 pip range, right? 100 pip range roughly. So the market opened here. We pushed down. That's a liquidity level, right? We were coming down from a liquidity level. That was a liquidity candle that was created. And we had tapped it once, deep in, twice, three times, coming down, ranging here, and then came back and we pushed down. And the market opened here. We pushed down, came back, tapped 3230, created the Asian high, pushed down, right? Created 30-minute resistance, heavy push down. Came down, there is this gap here that price kind of filled just underneath these wicks, right? Is liquidity. Price came and filled that gap, almost filled it, pushed up, created 30-minute support, created the Asian low and a liquidity candle and 30-minute support, Asian low, liquidity candle, 30-minute support, pushed back up, right? But no volume to go up, just ranged. Dip back into the liquidity candle several times, once, twice, three times, create a 30-minute support again, and the London low, and pushed back up to 3230, past it, back to the liquidity candle, right? And we formed the the London high, formed 30-minute resistance, right? And we've been ranging, right? And now 50-minute candle has closed pre-NY, 50-minute candle closed above the London high, closed back below, closed back above. On the 30-minute time frame, no resistance formed, no sells, no sells, no buys, because we're in a liquidity candle and we're in supply, right? Very straightforward. If price is in supply or at a liquidity candle in supply, I don't buy, right? Very strict rules. I don't buy. I have no business trying to buy here. I can look for a sell if 30-minute resistance forms. Ideally, what I want to see is this. I want to see 30-minute resistance forms if I'm to take a sell, right? 30-minute resistance form, and a tradable 30-minute back candle must close below the London high for me to take the sells to come down, right? The sells might be short-lived because we have support right here, right? So, and then we have 3230 here. Again, remember, I've been saying this for the last 3 weeks now. If you get a trade, be very conservative with your TP levels. 40, 50 pips, close partial positions, close at least 40%, 50% at 40 or 50 pips, and then let the rest run to your targets, to the targets that I place here, or your whatever targets that you use, right? But close, because we don't have volume, we don't have those 200, 300 pip moves in the first 2 hours of the New York Open, right? Volumes died down. So at 40, 50 pips, take partials. You can close 40%, 50%, and then let at least 40 or 50%. If not, you can close more, but close at least 40-50%, maybe even 60%, and then let the rest run to TP levels. And again, when it runs to your first TP level, um, take again partial positions. Don't try to hold runners. This is not the time to hold runners. Once you see volume come back into the market, and I've been saying this, the way you will know that volumes come back into the NY session, the first 2 hours of the NY session, you'll have 2 consecutive days with a lot of volume. 2 consecutive days, right? Once you have those 2 consecutive days with a lot of volume, that's when you know that volume is back in the NY session in the first 2 hours of the NY session, and then you can hold, you can hold a runner. But the last 3 weeks, I've not been holding any runners, right? Um, and this is the way to trade it. And you can trade and you can do well in a range in market in low volume during low volume time. You can do well during a low volume period. I don't mean low volume time. Low volume time is outside of the the trading session opens, but during a low volume period, right? So this is the NY open. We're expecting volume to come in, but there is no volume, right? So it's a low volume period, and we've been having this period for over 3 weeks now, right? So you can still trade, you can still get good trades. You just have to be very careful with your entries. You got to always look for best price when you're trying to enter. So if you're trying to buy, try to buy at the cheapest possible price that makes sense, that logically makes sense, based off price action. If you're trying to sell, try to sell at the most expensive possible price, again based off price action at a logical level. Um, and then you just take partial positions at 40-50 pips, and you got to be content with that. When volume comes back in, when you have um, weeks like this, where you have this big 1,200, 1,100, 1,100 pip candles, 750 pip candles, 1,250 pip candles, 700 pip candles, 900 pip candles. When you have weeks like this, yes, you can have a runner, right? You'll see that. When you have 2 consecutive days, you'll know volume has come back in, and then you can capitalize on the rest of the days. But until you see that, be very conservative with your levels. So again, I'm waiting for me personally. I'm waiting for 30-minute resistance. I'm only looking for sells here. Very, we could possibly have a sell setup here. I don't know if it'll work or not, but you could have a sell setup here, and then later on we could have a buy setup, right? Because price is pushing up. If you look at the 1 hour time frame, we've formed several demand levels. Also, we've formed 1 hour support. On the 4 hour time frame, we formed 4 hour demand and 4 hour support. So we are trying to push up through this area. Price, if it comes up here, that's the 6th time price is coming up here, right? So it could break. And if we do get a buy here, down somewhere here at 3230, or lower than that, then price could continue to push up if there is volume. If there is volume. Yesterday, there was no volume. Right? This was a perfect liquidity grab. This candle right here, perfect liquidity grab, but no volume to push up. Yeah, let's see. Need to wait for 30-minute resistance to form. Yeah. Uh, this could be one of those situations where 30-minute resistance does form, but we don't get a trade. Price just pushes down, and there could be a buy trade, right, later on. Very similar to what happened yesterday, right? Very similar to this. Um, the sell trade we couldn't get in because price didn't come up to the entries, but the buy trade worked to a certain extent. I wouldn't say it worked really well because there is no volume, right? But I did get about 110 pips out of that trade. Um, I took some entry. I took an entry at 3230 as well, and then one at the 5 minute this thing. And price did push up about 90 pips on the first entry and about 110 pips on the second entry. So we've come back to this level that price was at yesterday during the NY Open. Same place. Yeah, I'm not selling here. I'm not I'm not selling. Even though it looks tempting, we've dropped 50 pips already, I'm not selling. I want 30-minute resistance to form. 30-minute resistance, 30-minute tradable back candle close. Got 16 minutes more for the candle to close. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll see how the 30-minute candle is going to close. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? Yesterday? Anytime this week? Any questions? You can drop a message in the chat, and I'll answer. Yeah, price is coming down. I was expecting this. Price is coming down. And like I said, unlikely that we're going to get an entry for the sells. So later on, it's a buys that we might get an entry. We have. It's a long time. It's a long time. It's a long time. Anything can happen. We've got uh, at least an hour and a half of price action that needs to form to know what's going to happen, right? It's too early to predict what's going to happen for the session. Way too early. Where there easily is another hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours of hour and a half, I would say, of price action that we need to see. So, yeah. If we come here, I might take a sell. If we come here, 896, close 895. Yeah, I'm gonna take a sell here and manage risk here, 30 pips. Anticipating a push down here, 58 pips. Yeah. Mm. Let's see. Taken two entries there. Placed two pending orders. 50-minute resistance is formed. Better to see. It would be better. It would be better for 30-minute resistance. 205, 607. Yeah, we should come here. Yeah, let's see if the 30-minute candle can close bearish. But I placed a pending order here. It's going to take an order here. Yeah. Thirty-two, 33. 32, 32, 33. 40 pips, 45 pips. And the next one is 32, 30. Let's see. Going to manage risk on this. Could be pushing up. Yeah, pushed up. Ideally, this 30-minute candle needs to close below the London high. If you close above, then I'm going to manage risk on this. Yeah, let's see. If you close above, then I'm going to close probably 60% of my trades. I'll close all these orders that are here, the low ones. If you close above the London high, I'm anticipating it needs to close below for price to continue down, not above. If it closes above, then we're heading deeper. We're going deeper. And where are we heading to? Yeah, 3241, 32, 3241. 32.41. That's where I'm going to want to manage risk. 32.41. Yeah, closed above, that's resistance. Closed above, closed back below. Resistance, closed above, closed back below. Closed above, closed back below. Yes, resistance, yeah. 32.41. Yeah. I think we're closing above, so I'm going to manage risk on this. Yeah. I'll close some of these orders here at the bottom. No resistance. No resistance. Yeah, we're pushing up. Yeah, closed everything. Yeah, it's better to wait for 30-minute resistance to form. Yeah, let's just wait. $59, 70 pips. Yeah, 60 pips, 70 pips. There is volume. We're pushing up. We're pushing up. Get rid of all of this. But that 3241 is an important level. If price stays above, then we're heading higher. 3241, right? Whenever it stayed above, we pushed up deeper. That's exactly what's happening. We're pushing up, probably heading to 3250 now, deep into this liquidity candle. Uh, yeah, that was a good close. 30-minute candle closed above, started to close. Just before it closed, I started closed about 60% of my positions around here. Instead of price looked like it was going to close above the London high. It needed to close below the London high to continue down. We still can get sells because we are in a supply zone, but we have to wait for confirmation. 30-minute resistance must form, 30-minute tradable back candle must close for sells. I should have technically waited for the 30-minute candle to close, not opened it before the candle closed. That's my mistake. 15-minute candle closed below, 15-minute form resistance, but should have waited for 30-minute candle because we are in low volume. We are in a low volume period, so it's always better to wait for high time frame confirmations when taking a trade. Yeah, we've broken the liquidity candle. We should be heading higher. Tapped that high, we're getting to the next liquidity candle. And that's been tapped 6 times already. So we could continue to go up, further up. Yeah, could continue to go further up. It's no support formed in pre and Y. Yeah, I want to pull back to take buys at a liquidity level, and the liquidity levels are the how far is this? 200 pips. It's quite far. So at least price to pull back, create 15-minute support because price is quite far away, 200 pips away. Fuck. So So we've gone through this, get rid of all of that. Rejecting here, but the 30-minute candle needs to close. 15 minutes more. The 30-minute candle will close of the 1 hour candle as well. Come above this. And we're ranging here. We're ranging. Could be pushing back up. Thirty to 42 was a level. 41. Still pushing up. Should come down here, 32.42 and further down. Just got to wait. This 30-minute candle is likely going to close bullish, not bearish. Pushing up, no bottom wick. 132, 150, no bottom wick. Could come down to 3242. Grab liquidity and then push up. Yeah, we're closing bullish. This candle is going to close bullish, which means the 1 hour candle is going to close bullish. Might have a pullback. But need 30-minute support to form, to take a trade. At least 15-minute support to form. 15-minute support has formed. So 6442. It's nothing. 5 minute closer doji could push back up to here. Let's see. We had this initial push up, but after that, nothing yet. Just waiting for a retracement. And ideally 15, at least 15 minutes support to form to take the buys to go up. That's what I'm waiting for. Retracement. Seven six nine, 768. We've had nothing for the NY Open. It's almost an hour and no volume. Just an initial push up to 3230. Where is that on the range? Yeah, that's the top of the range right there. Right there, top of the range. 3 minutes more for the candle to close. Let's see what's happening. Nothing's it's not moving yet. Trying to come down. No bottom wick. This is low 41. Yeah, could push down. Pushing down. But there needs to be a close below the London high for sells. Not only a 30-minute resistance, but a close below the London high. Price to push down here. But I would be more comfortable with buys today, honestly. We've tapped this area for the sixth time. It's a little dicey to take sells here. Even though price can come all the way down, I wouldn't bet on it. Because we've tapped this liquidity candle six times, we're very likely to push through. So even if a 30-minute back candle closes below the London high, I'll be very wary of taking sells. $38. Yeah, no resistance. Still closing bullish. Weak, weak bullish, but still bullish. Need resistance for price to push down. Should come down to 3238. Tap this, pushing up, could push back all the way up. It's possible buys, but I'm no, not going to take any buys or sells here. No, they're just wicks. We're rejecting this area. It's better wait for clear 30-minute support to form, to go up. That's safer. It could push all the way down. The 1 hour candle closed a doji. No 30-minute resistance form to take sells. I wanted to see a 30-minute resistance form and a tradable 30-minute back candle close below the London high for price to come back down to 3230 and even lower down to the EMAs, but that's not happened. So no sells and no buys, because for buys I want to see 30-minute support form, and 30-minute support hasn't formed. 30-minute support hasn't formed inside pre-NY hours or in the NY open. So I'm not selling, nor am I buying. Just waiting. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of all of this. Yeah, no top wick on this candle. Could easily push up, grab liquidity, and push back up. To me, this is just trying to take a trade here is just forcing a trade. It just makes no sense. Just wait. I'm going to wait. It's very likely that we're going to get a trade after the 4-hour candle closes, right? Just like yesterday, just like we've been having all this week. An hour for the 4-hour candle to close. In about 20 minutes, we'll take a look at the chart. I'll take a look at the chart and then I'll give out a trading idea if there is one. But we've got to wait for this 30-minute candle to close, to be honest, to know, to have even to consider what's going to happen. Because right now we have a move up, just a wick, almost no top wick, and price continued higher. Almost no bottom wick. Price is coming down. That's a weak bullish candle. Price rejected 3250, trying to come down. But I can't sell because I want to see 30-minute resistance form and a 30-minute tradable back candle close below the London high for price to push back down, right? You can wait for the pullback and then take the sell to come down. That's the sell idea. For buys, I want to see 30-minute support from form and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close from a liquidity level, from any one of these liquidity levels, right? So either a weekly SR level here, or this EMA, or this EMA, or the liquidity candle. There are four. Right here, there are four levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's another liquidity candle here, 5. So 30-minute support needs to form after price touches any one of them. Yeah, we're coming down, coming down. We're rejecting 3250 coming down. This is what I said. There might be a move down and we might not get a trade. There might not be a setup. There might not be a trade. This could possibly be it. So which means there's going to be a buy trade. But wait for the 4-hour candle to close for the buy trade. Wait for 30-minute support to form. Wait for a tradable 30-minute bull candle to close. And then take the buys. But just wait. In about 20 minutes, I'll take a look at the chart and I'll give out if there is going to be a buy idea. Right now, there is no buys, there's no sells. There's no confirmation for sells, no 30-minute resistance didn't form to take the sells to come down. We just rejected this area, 15-minute resistance form. This candle opened and just pushed straight down. So there is no opportunity for sells and no buys. Just have to wait. Let's see how far price comes down. It could come to 3230 and then the EMAs and even the liquidity candle. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Still have about 24 minutes for the candle to close. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. $15-minute candle is just about to close. No top wick here. Price is pushing down, but no opportunity for the sells. This was kind of anticipated. I said this right at the beginning when the NY session opened and price was pushing up. There could be sells, I said, but no opportunity. So it's very likely there's going to be a buying opportunity. Just wait. Be patient. You'll have to wait for the 4-hour candle to close, which is in 45 minutes from now. Just wait. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Don't do anything until then. Wait for the 4-hour candle to close. Yeah, we're coming down. Just have to be patient and wait for 30-minute support to form. A tradable 30-minute bull candle to close to take those buys to go back up. Just be patient. We're coming down. Once we close, 50-minute support. Okay, let's take a look at lower time frame support resistance levels. 32.35, 32.35. I'm marking these levels off for for the next 2 to 3 hours, right? So, and I'll talk through them. Yeah, 32.38. Same level price reacted to yesterday. Pushed up, stopped there, 32.38, right? Exact same level. So 50-minute candle has closed below it. We should continue down. We should push down. This is not needed. 32.38 and 32.34. 32.34 is a minor level. So if we close below 30, if 15-minute candle closes below 32.34, we're coming down to 32.30 and lower. We're pushing down. Yeah, we're pushing down. We're coming here. This was a nice trade from 3250, 150 pips, 160 pips, but no confirmation. If 30-minute resistance had formed before price pushed up and closed below, then we know price is pushing up for a liquidity grab. Could have placed an entry there and taken. We've taken these trades I've taken this kind of trade many times on the stream. But 30-minute resistance has to form prior to the push up to the liquidity grab, because that's a liquidity grab on the 30-minute time frame, right? But there was no 30-minute resistance. So there's no way of taking that trade. 32.38, 32.34. So you got to wait. 15-minute candle needs to has closed below 32.38, so we should push down. But to push down further, to come to 32.30 or the EMAs, or even the liquidity candle, 15-minute candle needs to close below 32.34. 30-minute candle is not closed yet. 9 minutes more. If we close below the London high, then we could be pushing down all the way down here. Could be coming down. Got to wait for the candle to close. But that's a very wide stop loss to take sells here. And this 30-minute candle close. Yeah. Buys are better. Honestly, buys are better. Buys would be much better to take. When price comes to a liquidity level, forms 30-minute support, and a tradable 30-minute bull candle closes, that's when you want to take your buys. Very similar to yesterday. Nice candle. They've traded this off this 50-minute time frame as well, because that's a liquidity grab. 1700 hours. As you markets over time, that's the candle open. Yeah. We'd have to wait for this candle to close. Yeah, it's good 100 pip trade. I'd given out this level yesterday, 32.38. It's there on the stream. Six minutes more. Okay. Not taken. We took sells here, didn't work out. Tried to front run it. 15-minute on the 50 base of the 50-minute time frame, because this candle closed below the London high, but price pushed further up. So we managed risk, and I got out very quickly out of that trade. But now price is coming down, no opportunity for sell because 30-minute resistance hasn't formed yet. There's still almost 6 minutes for the candle to close. If the candle closes below the London high, could take sells. We'll have to, this is how you would have to take sells. Yeah, 076132. Yeah, maybe wait here for a sell, price to come up, this supply, 5-minute supply, 562. Even here, 42.86. But the 30-minute candle has to close below, has to form resistance, has to close below the London high. If it closed at the London high, then no sells. Price could push down, but I wouldn't take sells. You need a clear close below the London high. For the pullback, and how you manage risk on this trade is 246. That's where you would manage risk. Yeah, that's where you would manage risk. 32.46. So if you enter here, that's about 31 pips. And if you enter here, that's about what? 10 pips stop loss, 5 pips stop loss. Above this candle high, you can manage risk above this candle high. Above the 15-minute candle high. You manage risk here and then again manage risk here. 32.46 and 32.48. Yeah. 32.46, 32.48. Yeah, 32.48. This candle could close bearish, the 4-hour candle. Next one could grab liquidity and come down and then push up. Yeah, this is where I would, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Another 1.5 minutes for the candle to close, right? So buys, I would want to take buys from somewhere here, around the liquidity candle, right? Around 32.21 from that area. 30-minute support needs to form around this liquidity candle here, right? For me to take the buys to go up. For sells, if the 30-minute candle, it needs to close below the London high. Could wait for a pullback, take sells to come down. First here to 3230 and then to the EMAs and lower down, right? To 3222. That's where you would want to get out at around 3223. Right? That's what I would do. 30-minute candle needs to close below. And then a pullback. Yeah, we're closing below 30 seconds. Then wait for the pullback. Yeah. Yeah, good. Doji, better. Doji below 32.38. That's fine. So a pullback to 3242.86 or 3243, and then again 3245 or 3247 or 3246 or 3245.5 to take the sells to come down. So 30-minute candle has closed bearish below the London high, can take sells, wait for the pullback, take the sells down. Right? That's the plan. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's the end of the stream. Let's take a sell here, taking one there. At the London high. All right, so these are the areas to manage risk. TP is down here, 32.30 and then 32.23, right? Those are the TP levels for the sells. Buys, wait for 30-minute support to form for a tradable 30-minute bull candle to close. Stop loss would stay for stop loss under the liquidity candle low, which either this one or this one, depending on where the support forms. More aggressive stop loss would be under 30-minute candle low that created support, right? And again, your TP levels would be 32.30 and then 32.38 and then the liquidity candle here, which is 32.47. Okay, 32.30, 32.38, 32.47. Those are TP levels for the buys. All right. I'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST, and we'll see if we have a setup for the first 2 hours of the NY Open and take a trade. All right. Take care. I know it's been a slow few weeks, but be patient. Okay. There are trades to take. All right. See you guys tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care.